Hey guys, get the chat going. Go. Alrighty. Hey guys, see a bunch of you guys are already joining, ready to go, right on time today. That is awesome. If you guys can hear me okay, can you type in the chat where you are tuning in from so I can know that people are hearing me and that the chat box is working. I always have to manually turn that on. So that would be very, very helpful. Hey, all right, it's working. Traylon is calling in from Utah. Wendy, good morning from Texas. Another one from Texas. Teresa's in Missouri. Awesome. Me too. Amanda is in Delaware. Charmaine, hello from Wisconsin. Awesome. So excited. Michael, hello, Michael from Michigan. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. GM from the Bahamas by way of St. Louis. Good morning. Misha, you live in the Bahamas now? Can you please teach me your ways? Maria says Vancouver. I love that. All right, I'm going to share my screen. We'll see if you guys can see that. Open up the chat over here. Good morning, Paulette from Florida. Awesome. Okay, and open up the Q&A just in case you guys have awesome questions. All right. So can you guys can you see my screen? Let me know if you can see that. Just type a yes in there if you can see it. All right, Misha says yes. Thank you. All right. Welcome everyone to our webinar. Thanks again for joining me this morning on Thursday. I'm excited to dive in with you guys and go over this exciting journey into business ownership for all of you and help you learn how you can work from home or work from the road or work from the Bahamas or wherever you want to work, so you can achieve all of your personal goals, your family goals, and then all of that when it comes to financial goals, location goals, and your time goals. So that way you can do things that you want to do, hobbies or whatnot. So we're going to dive into all of that this morning. And let me move some of my screens around here. So good morning, Tracy. Good morning, Nona. For those of you that are new here, don't know me, my name is Tiffany Higgins. I'm a CPA. I'm a mom of 5. I founded the Stay-at-Home Bookkeeper Academy after experiencing all the awesome side effects of having a bookkeeping business back in 2015 when I started mine. I left corporate America, and then my husband was able to also leave his job within about 7 months after starting my business, which was completely unexpected and unplanned, but it was a really, really awesome thing for our family. And my bookkeeping business, to my surprise, brought in enough clients to cover all of our bills. And of course, it just kept growing from there, constantly creating new goals for myself and my family and expanding my mind to what's actually possible for your life. And so when I started my bookkeeping business, I had a 6-month-old at home and 2 elementary school age children. I completely quit my job and just decided to give this a try and see what would happen. And I didn't know what to expect, but it turned out really great for our family. So since then, I decided I wanted to show other people how they can do this as well. And even as your life is shifting and changing, you can still continue to keep all the clients that you have and continue to grow your business despite all of that. So for example, for us, we ended up going for one more kid, but we ended up having twins. And then we also moved to a different city that was about 90 minutes away from where we lived originally. We started homeschooling all of our kids, and obviously nursing twins is not easy. So we were able to juggle all of that while still growing our business every single, month, quarter, things like that. So I had the idea of starting the Bookkeeper Academy, to help other families have those same experiences that we did. and helping them break out of feeling stuck and feeling like you always have goals and dreams, but you never really know when you're going to accomplish them when you work in a corporate job or work for somebody else where you have a fixed income. There's something that you think, oh, eventually in the future, when I save up enough, I'll be able to do that. But when you don't control how much money that you have coming into your house, it's very hard to make those things materialize. So I am very passionate about teaching people how to start their own business, how to find clients and develop that skill so that way they are forever in control of how much money comes into their family and can be able to control and change their life and reach all of their goals. So, our mission here at the Stay at Home Bookkeeper Academy is to empower people to become financially independent without sacrificing connectivity with their families by offering the education and framework to launch their own bookkeeping business from home. That's why we're here. We want to help you do that, but we know that you need to have your cake and eat it too. You need to accomplish all these things while still having plenty of time to be there, present for your family and for your kids. So our motto is have your cake and eat it too, because we know how to have the best of both worlds, and we want to teach you guys how to do that as well. So drop a heart emoji in the chat if you resonate with this mission and if you think that your life would be, positively affected by making these changes and being able to have this lifestyle. Traylon says double hearts. I love that. Amanda. Can I tell all the ways to get started? Oh, that's a cool emoji, Wendy. That's cool. All right, awesome. I love all the hearts. Everybody's getting creative. They all look different. Okay, so I'm curious. I see some familiar names on here, but I'm curious who all we have attending. Morgan, I love the green ones. If you've been on a live webinar with me in the past, type a 1 in the chat. But if this is your first time here, type a 2. I'd love to know. Oh, we've got some new people. Okay, welcome back, Karen. Oh, wow, lots of new people. Okay, great. This is exciting. Exciting. Welcome, welcome. This is awesome. We have a majority of new people. This is great. I'm so excited to go over all this with you. I really like to make these presentations very interactive. So, feel free to ask a lot of questions. Feel free to, communicate with me in the chat. So we can really help you get an understanding of all of this. So everybody that's been here before, thank you for coming back. Don't be shy with your questions either. And for everyone that's new, a big warm welcome to having you guys here. We've got lots of information to go over. I'm going to stay on until every single question is answered. So sometimes our webinars go like 2 to 2.5 hours. So for those of you that are new, if you can't stay on that long, feel free. I will send you a link to this recording after it's done as well. But if you're able to stay on, or maybe if you have to leave and pop back on, that's totally okay. I will stay on here and get all of your questions answered. So let's see. Also, I do these every Thursday and every Saturday at 10 a.m. Central Time. I really encourage all of you new people, if you feel like you need to come back on multiple times, really soak this all in, understand all of this information, you're welcome to do that. We want you to feel really empowered and excited about your decision to jump in and start your bookkeeping business. So if you have any questions, it's very normal to feel nervous about doing something like this at the beginning and making a big change like this. But if you need to come in here and go through this a few times to really get a full understanding of exactly how this all works, you are more than welcome to come in. And you can invite your spouse, significant other, family members, anybody else that you think will help you make this decision on starting your business. They're welcome to come too. So that way you guys can have like a real educated discussion about it around the dinner table. So and then if you guys have questions, you can post them in the chat, but if the chat gets really going, sometimes I lose track of them. So if you want to use the Q&A button to post a question, I will make sure I can check those off, and I will make sure that every single one of those questions gets answered. All right, so here's our agenda for the meeting today. The first thing I'm going to do for all of you guys is go over our new guaranteed approval program, what that looks like. 100% of everyone gets approved to join our program, no matter if you have no employment or you have bad credit, it doesn't matter. As long as you can afford the monthly payment, you are approved. And keep in mind, you only need to be able to afford the monthly payment for the first few months until you get clients rolling in, because your business is going to very easily be able to cover that payment going into the future. And of course, you're going to make a lot more money than just what the payment is. So I'm also going to go over the investment of our program. So for all of you that are new, if you don't know what the investment is in order to get into our program, I'm going to tell you that right up front at the beginning. And then you're going to see what it's like as you learn about a bookkeeping business, how much money you can make and how quickly and easily you're going to be able to get your return on investment and make that money back. So then after that, we're going to talk about your goals, because having clear defined goals is going to not only help you have a starting point, like a baseline of where you are, but it's also going to help you map out where you want to be. So that way, as you're getting through this bookkeeping business, you're going to be able to check these off and say, oh my gosh, okay, I already accomplished goal number 1. Now let's move on to goal number 2. And then you accomplish that. And then you go to goal number 3. And then you realize, holy cow, I have to set new goals because I keep hitting all of these goals and checking them off my list. So it's really important to be able to define those goals and know what you're working towards so that you can celebrate your successes along the way, which is really awesome. So I'll help you guys set some really awesome goals. And then I'm going to show you why and how a bookkeeping business will actually help you reach those goals and how you're going to make the money back, and then be able to replace your corporate income, reach all these other goals that you have for yourself. So I'm going to dive into the science behind it, the business science, so you understand how a business works if you've never had a business before. And then lastly, I'm going to show you how our team will help you set the foundation for your bookkeeping business for years to come, so you can continue diving into this. Karen, do I still have clients? I did take on a handful of clients over the last 6 months, but I actually just referred them out to some of the students, because when you have a business, one of the things you have to do with your mindset is really think about things like, if I spend my time on this, what am I not spending my time on? And so now that I've got this focus, if I take my focus off of it when I'm not quite ready, then things can happen and change. And sometimes it's not always a positive thing. So I actually just ended up referring my clients out so I could continue to focus on this one thing, this one academy. It's one thing I talk about too here in a little bit is once you start growing your business, I always recommend that you guys start hiring people to help you. If you can pay somebody 15 or 20 bucks an hour to clean your house, but you can make $100 an hour in your business, it's so much more cost effective for you to actually pay somebody to clean your house. So it's just shifting your mindset and perspective around things like that, which is really cool. As you become a business owner, you kind of look at the world a little differently, which is cool. Tracy says, so you help teach business time management? Yes, absolutely. We're really big on efficiency. And part of the reason why you would make $100 an hour is because you do things in an efficient manner and you follow a streamlined workflow that we help you with. So yes, business time management, absolutely. And we have programs that we recommend that you use to help keep on track for stuff like that. 90% of the people in our academy are busy parents. And a lot of them, the majority of them are working, out of corporate jobs. So they're working a corporate job, have kids at home, and they're growing this business. So having time management skills and learning that in our academy is really important so that you just, can manage it all at the beginning. Because the first maybe 3 to 4 months of starting your business is the hardest, because you might possibly be juggling all of that. You're juggling your nerves because this is something totally new, but you're also learning a lot. You're doing things you've never done before. And on top of that, you've got kids, your normal duties, your household duties, your job duties. So the first few months can be a little bit challenging, and we really help you through all of that until you get to the point after you've got 2, 3, 4 clients rolling in where maybe you can either get some help at your house leave that corporate job, and then your whole world opens up. So much freedom. Morgan says, how does it work through homeschooling and off-shift job and side jobs? So with a bookkeeping business, I'll explain this here in a little bit, but you can do this at any time of the day, any day of the week. So if you have a normal 9 to 5 schedule, you can easily grow your business and start your business working in the evenings or early mornings or on the weekends. If you have a weird schedule right now with your current job or your part-time job or a side job, you can do this during the day. It does not matter. When I had my twins, I did a lot of the work at like 3 o'clock in the morning when they would wake me up and they would want to nurse and stuff. So I did a lot of my work then. I had this like pillow that I put around me and the twins would sit on it while I was nursing, and I would just like sit and type and do my bookkeeping. So you can literally do it whenever, which is great. And you can start this business as a side hustle at the beginning. You can keep it as a side hustle, or you can grow it as like, you know, your main source of income for your family. There is a lot of flexibility with it, and I'll show you what that looks like here on some upcoming slides as well. But as promised, I'm going to give you some details first about the Academy investment and how you can get started with our new guaranteed funding program. And then if you're new here, you'll be able to see how you can turn this investment into lifelong money for your family. So if you join our Bookkeeper Academy program, it's 12 full months of support, so we can help you build the foundation for the whole first year. So that way you are always going to be making $100 an hour or more with your bookkeeping business. And we really work side by side with you to do that. It's a $12,000 investment for our program. We do have an option of paying in full, but we do have payment plans as well that are very, very affordable. But what we really focus on doing is helping our students get a 10 times return on investment just in their first year. So around $100,000 to $120,000 is what we aim for, what you can expect to make in your bookkeeping business if you put in the work, if you follow our steps, and you lean on our support team to help you. This is what you're going to make. So if you think about it in terms of investing, let's assume you have this $12,000 laying around. Some of you do, some of you don't. Let's say you do. If you do, and you decide to invest that in a savings account or a CD, or maybe even like a 401k or something, none of those things are going to provide you 10 times return on investment, especially in only a year. So investing in yourself and investing in starting up a business is going to be like the most profitable, the biggest return on investment that you will ever get. And then you can use your business profit in the future years to then invest in those other things that will then provide you passive income for your future. So investing in your business and yourself first, then investing in those other things secondary. That's typically what we do as business owners. So I just want to point out the amount of money that you can make by investing in yourself. Whether you decide to start a bookkeeping business or something else, it's always going to be the best investment that you make. Now, if you Google on Forbes.com, the top most profitable businesses that you can run, bookkeeping/accounting firms is in the top 3 of most profitable businesses. And I love it the most because it's also the most flexible business that you can run, and also be able to do this from home and alongside your family. So I'm curious on here. I always want to know, how many of you have the mindset and belief that you can make $100,000? So if you had the right tools, the right mentor, the right opportunity, could you see yourself making $100,000 a year working part-time from home? So type a 1 for yes if you believe in yourself that you could actually accomplish that with the right guidance. But if you feel honest, like you're not sure, like to you, that's a lot of money. I never made that in my life. I don't know that I could actually do that. Type a 2 if you feel like that's a struggle for you. Seeing lots of 1s. Great. I love this. I love to know kind of where some people's mindsets are, and if this is something that's, feels doable to you. Awesome. Couple 2s. Okay, great. We'll work on that. So for the twos also, a lot of times what people do is they don't know at first if they can do this because they've never been in this situation. And then what we see is like they get their first client and then their second client and then their third client, and then their mind like really opens up to like, wow, this stuff really is possible. This really is doable. So if you're at a 2 right now, I just encourage you to think, like, push your mind to beyond its limits and kind of think about and imagine, like, what would it be like if you could make this? And maybe we can revisit this question too at the end, so you got, after you guys see the science behind all of the bookkeeping business and how it works this way, and then see if you're still at a 2 or if you've joined all the other people that are in ones. So the really cool thing about the Bookkeeper Academy is that our program actually helps our students make money so quickly that we have a funding specialist, and they decided this month to roll out a new program where they are guaranteeing every single person gets approved because they know our students are making money so quickly. In our program, you could literally get a client the first day and start bringing in money, and then we actually help you learn how to do everything that you need to do to make sure that client is super happy. So you could literally make money in your first day. I've had several students, but I had a student specifically that posted on her first day, I just got my first client and I just joined today. So totally possible. I'd say on average, it takes anywhere from like 30 to 60 days. Worst case scenario, maybe 90 days to get your first client. And that is like for super busy people that are putting minimal effort in. So most of our students, I would say, get clients around the 4 to 6 week mark as they're getting everything set up, learning what they need to know, and kicking off their marketing plan that we help them develop. So, but anyway, our funding specialist is approving everybody. So even if you don't have a job, even if you have horrible credit, anything like that, we've all been there. And they are willing to go out on a limb and take a leap of faith for everybody that wants to join our program, because they know that you're going to be able to transform your life and you're going to be able to make that payment. So they're willing to take that on. So to give you guys an idea of what that would look like, the monthly payment amount is dependent on your credit score, but the highest possible payment for our 12-month Bookkeeper Academy program is $640. I believe that's spread out over 24 payments, but if you do pay it off within 12 months, it ends up being interest-free. So as you start to get clients, as clients start rolling in, you can actually just pay that off, and then you won't have to pay any interest at all, which is absolutely amazing. If you have a good credit score, though, you could potentially get your payments down as low as $290. Either way, that higher payment is the equivalent of only 1 to 2 super small clients. So as you get going and you get your first client maybe around the 4 or 5 week mark, second client comes in at like 6 or 7 week mark, you're only going to have to come up with 2 to 3 payments before your client income is going to start covering that. So for those of you that are, trying to figure out how to budget this, keep that in mind when you're thinking of if you're ready to dive into a monthly payment like that. If you're committed to starting your business, you really only have to mentally commit to like the first 2 to 3 payments before you'll have more money coming in to cover it. So curious how you guys feel about that. If you had to go with the highest payment amount of $640 per month, if assuming the program makes sense for you, once you hear about it, would it be doable for you to make a $640 monthly payment for a few months, assuming that you're going to have money coming in soon? So curious if you guys want to type a 1 if that's something that does seem kind of doable, or a 2 if that's completely, not doable. And this is obviously assuming that this is the right fit for you and you're 100% interested in moving forward. Okay, awesome. So we have a little bit both ways. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for the input. So who is ready to get started learning like really about a bookkeeping business? This is where I'm going to teach you how you can make $5 or $10 or even $20,000 per month, starting from ground zero, even if you've never done bookkeeping before. All right. Okay, so first thing we like to do is dive into your goals and help you outline those, so then I can walk you through the roadmap of exactly how you can reach them. So we're going to talk about financial, time, and location goals. But the first one that is the most important is financial, because if you don't have money coming in, if you don't have the ability to reach your financial goals, you can't reach the other ones. So financial is the most important. So let's dive into that. But I have these broken out into 3 different types of goals. So the first one is what I call the bare minimum goal. And this is like the basic goal you would want to hit to give yourself confidence that you are on the right path and basically establishing proof of concept for your family. So, for example, for me back in 2015, my bare minimum goal was $2,000 a month. I was currently bringing home $3,500 a month after taxes at my CPA job. But I was paying a nanny like $1,500 a month to watch my kids while I was gone. I didn't want her to go to daycare, so I was, overpaying a little bit. But regardless, I really only needed about $2,000 a month to break even. Obviously, paying that nanny was a struggle for our family, so I knew that I couldn't survive for a long time on just $2,000 a month, but we were making it work somehow. And so I figured that's my first goal. I just need to get to that point. So for you, it could be bare minimum that you would need to make to cover your portion of the family's expenses, enough to get by for a few months so you can quit your job, just so that way you're making all of your monthly commitments on time. So drop in the chat, what do you think your bare minimum goal number 1 would be? If you decided to start your business today, what would you be striving for as your like basic bare minimum first amount of income that you wanted to make? Drop that in the chat for me. $1,500, $2,500, $5,000. Awesome. 5,000, 5,000, 4,000, 6,000, 2,500, 6,000, 5,000. Awesome. 5,000, 2 to 3. Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, so then financial goal number 2, this would be like as you started to get some clients, then you would be, okay, great. That first bare minimum goal is good. I can almost breathe, but now I want to hit the goal number 2 so I don't have to, budget. I don't have to like worry that if I have like 1 month, I have an extra expense to come up that I'm going to be in trouble, right? Or hurting. So goal number 2 would be covered, content, and worry-free. So this is where like from day to day, you don't have to stress. You're not thinking about money every second of the day. You don't have to worry about budgeting every penny at the grocery store, because we've all done that. So what would that be? So for me, it was around $5,000 to $6,000 a month. When I hit that, it allowed me to cover all of our basic living expenses. And I was able to start reaching some of our lifestyle goals, which, bringing my husband home. So that way I didn't have to try to work at weird hours or work while my daughter was, crawling around and stuff like that. So I was able to get that second goal of, it still wasn't quite where we wanted to be financially because we were losing my husband's income, but it allowed us to then be able to change our lifestyle a little bit and have him home so that I could have more free time to focus on getting more clients. So we've got Michael says 6 to 8, Maisha says 6 to 7, 7, 8, 6. That makes a lot more sense. Also, because my goals, this was back in 2015 when things were quite a bit different. So your goals are all kind of similar to what mine were. Awesome. Okay. And then this one is so fun. The goal number 3 is a wow goal. This is a goal that when our students make these goals in our academy, it's like they sort of believe it, but not really yet. And that when they do hit this goal, they are completely changed forever. Like their mind is changed forever, because reaching this goal is helping them actually realize some of those things that they've always had on their wish list. For some people, it was the, ability to just never have to budget anymore. For other people, it was like taking their kids to Disney finally, or some kind of family vacation. For other people, it was being able to buy a brand new car, or actually buy their first home, or upgrade to a home that they dream home that they had always wanted. So it's different for everybody, but what is your wow goal? If you could reach that you would just be totally blown away and feeling so happy and content and not worrying about money. Megisha says 10K plus. I love that. 12,000, 11,000, 10 to 20,000. Awesome. Yes. 15,000. That's great. Awesome. Okay. So time goals. Yeah. Being debt free. Time goals. So now that we kind of have an idea of where you guys want to be financially, then also time goals are something that is a really awesome benefit with your bookkeeping business. So a lot of people put in 40, 50, 60-hour work weeks for their job on a fixed salary, and they don't have the opportunity to have a flexible schedule, or sometimes if they take time off, they lose pay. So it can be really challenging. But I'm curious to know how many hours that you guys currently commit to your job. And if you don't work or you're a stay-at-home parent, how many hours a week would you have to work to make the kind of money that you need? So for me, I only worked about 40 hours a week. You want to include commute. You want to include the amount of time that you are not home. So if you have a 9-hour day because you have to account for lunch and then you have a commute, add all that up. So for example, my husband, he went to downtown Kansas City. He had to be there at like 7:30. He didn't get to leave till like 5 or 5:30 sometimes. So with traffic and everything, he usually was gone about 60 hours a week. So a significant amount of time. So type those hours in of like how much that you actually are gone. 40, 60, 40, 70 to 80 for Morgan, 50 plus for May, 60 for Ande, 50 hours for Maria, 30 with commute and all 120. Oh my goodness. Whoa, what do you do, Morgan? Tracy says, I teach and work constantly after work, so 60 plus. Ouch, yeah, 45 to 48, 60, 70 plus on just work. Wow, you guys are hard workers. Oh my gosh, like I can't even begin to tell you, if you even put half of that much time into growing your business, you're going to be like raking in the clients. 80 hours, Cynthia. Holy cow, that's amazing. I mean, seriously, you guys, if you guys are all working this much, I mean, if you put even a fraction of that into your business, you are going to be filthy rich. There's no other way to say it, because the great thing about your business is the more effort you put into it, the more results you get. And guess who gets to keep all of the money when you get results? You. It's amazing. There's almost no expenses with a bookkeeping business. That is crazy. Morgan says, I'm a diesel mechanic, work part-time at fast food and then full-time at a distribution center. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of hard work. Holy cow. Now, I would say for you, Morgan, like sitting at a computer is a little bit different than doing all of that manual labor. So that would be something that you would probably have to get a little used to, but you could work so much less and obviously a lot not as hard, and probably make a lot more money. So we'll get to that slide here shortly. But so and then if you guys can kind of get in your mind, like what is going to be the perfect schedule for you? If you could pick like how many hours a week would I really prefer to work? So that way you had more time to spend with your family, or maybe you want to pick up a hobby. You just want to have some more time to relax, or maybe go to the gym or be able to like take walks and stuff like that. Mental health splashes with your family. Yeah. So what would be your ideal schedule? How many hours per week or per day would you guys want to work ideally? And so drop that in the chat, and I want to see how that compares to basically what you are currently working. 20, 20, 20 or less. Awesome. I sometimes feel like a lot of us are really built to work like 20 to 30 hours a week, especially if you've got a lot of kids at home, because that is the common number that I see. Up to 20 hours per week, 20 hours that's spread out over my day, 30, 20 to 30, 40 per month, 20, 40 per month. Oh, I like that. 20 or less. Well, Maisha, if you're in the Bahamas, yeah, let's work 10 hours a week. May says 20 or less, 35. I would work 40 or more. I can't sit still. Yeah. And you could work. And that's the great thing, Morgan. Like if you decide you want to work a lot, and Cynthia, if you want to work 60 hours a week, you could continue to do that. And that's perfectly fine, because then the more work you put into your business, the more benefit and the rewards that you're going to reap. So if that's what you want to do. The other cool thing is, though, if you wanted to, instead of working, put some of that time into doing other things that bring you joy, you would be able to do that too, not only from a time perspective, but you'd be able to afford those things. So for example, my family and I all have decided, well, most of us, out of 7 of us, 5 of us are all taking music lessons, drums and singing and piano and guitar and like a music, what's the word I'm looking for? Like variation, like to try all the instruments class. And we pay like over $1,000 a month for everyone in our family to do that. And we have the time to be able to do it, and we have the money to be able to afford it. And it's all because of having a business, which is really cool. So, okay. So now that we kind of have that discussed, let's talk about location goals, because I know that's really important, especially for some of you guys that are commuting and it's adding a lot to your time. So let's chat a minute about that. Do you guys have a desire? Tell me where you want to work from. Do you want to work from home? Do you want to work from your RV? Do you want to be able to travel around and see family and work from like multiple locations? Yeah, Maisha says everywhere. Yeah, Morgan, yes, it seems like you do stay busy. That's awesome. And being in that industry, you know, a lot of people that have car sales companies, auto repair shops, you know, things like that, and construction people that do carpentry work, remodeling, they are historically and notoriously horrible at their bookkeeping. So the fact that you know a lot about that industry could give you a heads up for being able to go in there and talk to those kind of people and get those people as clients. You know, you can relate to what the work that they're doing. You already know a lot about that industry, but then you can offer bookkeeping services to those people, and kind of they would already kind of trust you because you can speak their language, you understand their pain points, and they are good clients because they don't like to do their bookkeeping at all. But Maisha would work everywhere. Morgan would work home and travel, home and RV for on day. Jennifer, home and travel, mainly work from home. Charmaine says home or anywhere I decide to travel. Currently work from home, remote at home, home and travel, home with my dog. I love that. Overseas, still work while visiting family everywhere. I love that. Okay, great. Awesome. So then what happens too, once our students start knocking off some of those like initial goals, then they move on to these goals where they're able to start paying off debt. They're able to like buy their dream house. They're able to start investing in other things that are even more passive. And so tell me a little bit about that. Let's say you guys get your business up to where you are at goal number 3, you're at your wow goal. What are some additional things that you would be focusing on if you had that money coming in? When you have that money coming in, what are you going to do with it? So Tracy says paying off debt and putting more money in retirement, remodeling. Maisha says dream home and investing. Yes. Is your dream home going to be on the beach? Because if it is, I'm going to come visit. That's awesome. So yeah, think about that. Type in the chat, what are some additional things that you would do once you reached your wow goal? So I'll give you some examples. To celebrate my 1-year anniversary in my bookkeeping business, in 2016, we bought a new van, and I completely paid this off within 6 months. It was a $45,000 van at the time. And I was able to not only buy it and get, you know, financing for this vehicle with only my bookkeeping business income in the first year of being self-employed, but I actually paid it off within about 6 months, which was really awesome. We still drive this car as our primary vehicle. And this payment, I want to say it was like $730 a month at the time. Joining the academy is actually cheaper than a car payment. And you can actually use your academy money to pay off a new car, which is cool. So, but then we also decided to take our family on a 16-day vacation across the country, stopping in Estes Park, Mission Beach, and the Grand Canyon. I had watched my boss at the time, before I started my business, go on trip after trip after trip while we were all stuck at the office. And I remember just thinking, I'm going to go on a really long vacation the second I can afford it. And it was only a year into starting my business that we were like, hey, let's do that vacation. And it was awesome. 16 days we were gone. It was unbelievable. It was so fun. Morgan would build a log cabin and build my husband his dream car and my dream truck, and also buy land and build my mom her she shed so she can be my neighbor for the boys. That's so cool. I love that. Yeah, you can do all of those things. In 2020, when COVID was going on, I actually moved my family out to California. And then I moved all of my extended family, my siblings and their spouses and their kids, and my mom we rented this house that had 3 separate living areas, and we all lived together. And for a little while, we even hired a meal prep service that came and delivered us dinner. So we all sat around and had big, giant dinners every single day. It was so fun. But you can do those kinds of things when you have a business. It's so cool. Paulette says, pay off debt, investment portfolio for retirement, world travel. I love that. Invest and take care of family. That's awesome. So we also were able to get a home loan for our house in 2018. We doubled our house. We upgraded it. We wanted a pool, and we wanted a little bit bigger house since we had the twins. And my bookkeeping business got us approved for a house that was double the size of the house we were living in, which was absolutely amazing. So my goal is to be debt-free and pay cash for everything moving forward. Yes, I love that. I love that as well. Okay, it's time to dive into the actual roadmap on how to achieve all these goals that we've just spent the last little bit talking about. So I want to show you exactly how a bookkeeping business helped me accomplish these, helps our students accomplish these things now, and how it can help you accomplish these goals too. So the first chart that I like to go over is the average time it takes our students to reach various levels of reoccurring, dependable, consistent monthly income in their bookkeeping business. Now, before I really dive into this, I just want to let you know that there are a lot of different ways to make money in your bookkeeping business that aren't as dependable. They're more like a one-time thing. Like, for example, cleanup jobs when you get a new client. Those can range anywhere from like $1,500 to $10,000 to, I've seen them as high as $75,000. I'll show you that later. And commission income, payroll income, upselling your clients into other services that we help you with. But this is the basic bookkeeping income that you can get that's reoccurring. So once you hit these different levels, you can say, I'm not going to look for any more clients anymore because I'm happy with where the business is at. And then you can coast. So I want to show you guys what that looks like, because until you reach the level that you want to be at, you're going to have to keep following your marketing plan. You're going to have to keep looking for clients. But once you hit this level, then you're good to go. If you're happy and content with where your money is, you can spend your time doing other things. If you're not and you want to keep growing, then you can keep spending your time on marketing. But just to give you an idea of how much you will need to market or how long to get to these various levels, this chart kind of shows a realistic expectation of where your monthly reoccurring income will be so that you can coast in your business. So what we've seen historically from students is that they add approximately $1,000 a month to their business for every month that they're in business. So on average, if you're wanting to make, let's say, $3,000 a month as your first goal, it's going to take approximately 3 months for you to get to that level, assuming that you're working about an hour a day on marketing. So, and then as you get to your next goal, $5,000, it might take around 5 months for you to actually hit that, where you can be like, okay, I'm not going to do any more marketing. So, for you guys to get to your first goal, how many months would that take? So it's almost October 1st right now. So by the end of the year, right around Christmas time, everyone should be at approximately $3,000 a month. So Morgan said 1.5 months. Awesome. 1.5 months. That's nothing. That's nothing. That's before Thanksgiving. That's awesome. And of course, during tax season, we see our students blow past this timeline as well. Tax season is around September, October timeframe now, and then also January through April. And they get a lot of clients in those months. So everyone's going to reach their first goal around 1.5, 2 months, 2 months, 3 months, 2 months, 4 months, those kinds of things. Awesome. That's really a short time frame for you guys to be starting to work towards your dreams, right? And then, of course, this chart is based on our average student. And our average student typically comes into the academy with a full-time job, like most of you guys, having, lots of hours that you have to dedicate to a job. A lot of them have kids at home as well that they're juggling. So this is based on really squeezing out like maybe a 60-minute time frame per day, 5 days a week, where you can focus on rolling out your marketing plan and building some consistency. So that's all it really takes to kind of get this going and get started. As you get clients, you're going to be putting more time in. So having a really exit plan for your job or being able to free up more time so that you can work on your business, that's going to be something that will start to come into play there. But really, it only takes about an hour a day to get these results and being consistent, and you can hit that. So Tracy's right. It really is a very short time frame for you to get some traction and get results. And the reason you can do that in our academy is because we teach you the basics in the first few weeks, but then we teach you marketing and the business building aspects of it. And then we support you as things come up. So you're learning, but you're getting paid, as you're learning. Morgan said, I could work on this at work on breaks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I actually had one of my really successful students, Casey, she joined back in 2019 and she would do that. She would work on her marketing on her lunch break in the back room of her vet tech job. And so she grew her business completely by doing that. And then, sometimes after the kids would go to bed, she would work on some bookkeeping and stuff. And then she was able to leave that job. And then she had all day to work on it, which opened up so much time for her. So this is a chart where it shows you to make that kind of money in your bookkeeping business, how many clients you actually would need. And this is an approximate number because every client you meet is going to be a different size in a different industry and have different things going on with all of their bank accounts and credit cards. So on average, what we see is the clients pay about $500 a month, but this ranges anywhere from $97 to $300 a month up to, I've seen clients or students charge clients $4,000 a month. It really just depends on the size of the client. And we teach you how to know how to quote them so you can charge the right rate that is going to be fair and affordable to the business, but also allow you the opportunity to make $100 an hour. And I'll explain more about that later. But this is based on an average. So yeah, Maisha's already hopping on there. How many clients would you need to reach your first goal? Paulette says 8 clients. So for me, I really only needed 4 super small clients just to get started to hit my first goal number 1. And this again is assuming every client is fairly small on this chart. So to give you guys an example, Kim is a student. She was a student in our academy last year, and she got her first client pay her $2,200 per month. So instead of 4, she only needed 1 to hit that first goal. So it is kind of a range, but we've got Kapua says 6, Charmaine says 6 to 10, Morgan says 4. Awesome. Yes. So when I had my bookkeeping business, I was making about $20,000 a month. And I had 33 clients instead of the 40 listed here to kind of give you guys an idea of the range. Cynthia says 7, Tracy says 10. Okay, great. Now I'm going to show you guys how many clients there are out there that are available. This chart shows that over the last 6 years, this one's from 2022, but over the last 6 years, you can see every year the chart gets bigger. So there's a number of small businesses in the US continues to grow. In fact, there are over 500,000 small businesses that are starting up every month. And the majority of these people know nothing about how to do bookkeeping for their business. And also, bookkeepers and CPAs are retiring in droves. and there's not really very many people out there to replace them because there's been a huge decline in people getting accounting degrees lately. And I think personally, my guess is because the low pay, honestly, most people that join our program that are coming from an accounting background, they're making $4,000 a month, and they have to work really long hours during tax season. So clients are literally everywhere, and there will never be a shortage of potential clients for you because new ones are always opening every month. And there's never going to be enough bookkeepers out there to help everyone, especially as you can see from that chart. Each bookkeeper can make $20,000 a month and only need 40 clients. So with 500,000 new businesses opening up every single month, as you can see, there would need to be tons of new bookkeepers starting every month. So you're never going to have any competition, for one. But it also helps that bookkeeping is a required service. It's not a luxury item that you have to try and convince someone to purchase. All the businesses know that they need it. They already understand the value behind bookkeeping because they can't make decisions with their business if they don't see their finances, their financials. They can't apply for loans if they don't have their bookkeeping done. They can't get their tax return done if they don't have their bookkeeping done. So the business owners understand that it's something that's important, and they don't have time or the knowledge to be able to focus on it. So that's why they need you. And of course, we walk you through all of those steps on how to find the clients, but also how to help them in our academy as well. So based on this chart and based on the number that you guys put in the chat, put a thumbs up in the chat if you feel like getting to that number of clients that you put in here is doable, given the potential client pool that I'm showing you here. So drop a thumbs up if you feel like it's doable. If you feel like it's not, do a thumbs down. Awesome. Yes, so the odds are in your favor to get lots of clients to help you reach your goals. Exactly. Love all the thumbs up. Okay, this is my favorite slide of the whole presentation because as busy parents and as people that are, working a lot, especially at the start of this, if you have a job where you're working a lot, the time commitment to get your business off the ground is going to be a factor, right? And what's really awesome is that once you hit the level of income that you want for your family, doing only the bookkeeping part of your business is so minimal. When you're growing your business at the beginning, you're going to be putting extra time into setting it up. You're going to be putting extra time into marketing and having discovery calls and things like that, which again, we show you how to do all of that. But when you don't want to do that stuff anymore and you're happy with the money that you have coming in, you can just coast. I like to call it coasting. And then that way, what you do is you just work on the bookkeeping work for the clients that you're already committed to and that are already paying you every single month. And this is the amount of hours you can expect to work based on the revenue. So for example, at my first goal, when I was making $2,000 per month, I only had to spend 4 hours per week of my time to do all of the bookkeeping work for all of my clients. It's super minimal. And the reason that I stepped out to do this on my own is because I was experiencing that at my corporate job. I did the bookkeeping for the clients at the firm that I worked for, and I knew how long it took me to do it. And I also could see how much he was charging them. So I knew I would only have to work a few hours a week to reach that first goal, which I felt like was so doable because I wanted to spend time with my 6-month-old. So this has continued to be exactly how it's worked out as I continue to grow and add more clients. And this is how it works out for our students and how it will work out for you. So if you look at your first goal, whatever you guys put in there, assuming maybe that would replace your income, or if you could drop one of your jobs right now, let's say one of Morgan's part-time jobs is 8 hours a week. And you would get $4,000 a month with your bookkeeping business. Does your part-time job compare? How does your part-time job compare to that? But really take a look at this and tell me, to replace your corporate job, how many hours per week would you have to work? Yeah, Morgan says not even close. So if you're making $5,000 a month right now and you're working 50 hours a week, you're going to save 40 hours every single week by just switching to a bookkeeping business. So Jennifer says she'd only have to work 8 hours a week for her corporate job. And how many hours are you currently working, Jennifer? I'm going to scroll back up and see if I can find it. Let's see. Tracy said she would only have to work 10 to 12 hours per week. That's awesome. So Jennifer's working 70 plus hours a week right now, and she would end up only having to work 8 at the same pay to replace her corporate job. That is insanely huge. Can you imagine, Jennifer and everyone listening, like how differently her lifestyle would be if she quit that job and she focused just on her bookkeeping business? That at first, the time alone would be unbelievable. But then think about, even if Jennifer wanted to put half that time into her business, how much more money she'd make. I'm definitely at that stage of the season changing where I've got that cough. So I'm probably going to be muting myself a lot, guys. Okay, so how many hours would all the rest of you guys save? Paulette said she would save 33 to 40 hours. That's amazing. What about the rest of you? Morgan, 16. Awesome. May said she would save 30 plus hours. What would you guys do with all that extra time? Obviously, you could reinvest it in your business, but if you didn't, what would you do with that time? Morgan would save 100 hours. Holy cow. How are you? You are amazing. Like, I need way more sleep than that. Cynthia, 40, Charmaine, 10 to 15. Kapua says 20 hours a week. May would travel more. Tracy said she would just enjoy my family. Yes, yes. Enjoy your family. Do fun things, leisurely walks, relaxing. I love that. So here's a recap chart. If you guys want to take a screenshot of this or anything like that, you're welcome to. Jennifer says, be more flexible for my kids and their extracurricular activities. Yeah, that's hard to juggle when you work so much, especially if they've got something like every night. I know we've got the band and music practice 2 nights a week, and that takes a lot of time. So here's a recap slide if you guys want to take it. It shows the average time frame, how much money you can make in that time frame, how long it takes you to do the work, and how many clients you would need. Morgan said, I would enjoy my family, do field trips with my boys instead of just schooling and be able to take the boys to sports. Yeah, absolutely. Paulette says, do a design degree in quality time with family. Ooh, I like the design degree idea because you can also then cross-sell your bookkeeping clients and offer design services to them too. I have a student that actually is really good at graphic design also, and she designs logos for our students in the academy in addition to her bookkeeping business, and she also does website and logo designs for all of her bookkeeping clients, which is cool. Oh, Kapua would homeschool her daughter. Awesome. Yeah, it's been nice to have that flexibility to be able to do that. All right. Okay, let's see. So this is where I like to dive in and let you guys know, like, how does this high money, low time business work? Because everybody probably feels like this is a perfect scenario for me, right? It feels too good to be true. How could this actually work? And if it does work, why doesn't everybody do it? Well, I'm going to explain exactly how it works and why. And then that way you guys fully understand that. Does that sound good? Everybody want to hear how it works, like the real actual science behind it, not the like just dream stuff? Morgan says yes. Okay, Charmaine says yes. So there's a couple of key pillars that make these results possible. The first and most important step is proper quoting process. So obviously you have to understand how to charge, potential clients. You want to make sure you're not undercharging or undervaluing the services that you're going to be providing. It's a really important skill to develop, and it's kind of like an art. There's a lot of factors that go into quoting. And in our Bookkeeper Academy, we help you get crystal clear on exactly what to charge a potential client. We have a quoting tool that you get to use where you ask your client specific questions. As they answer it, you fill out the quoting calculator and it will tell you what range that you should charge them. And of course, we go over every single quote that our students have so they can feel 100% confident that the prices they're charging are right in line with the results that I'm sharing here. So that way you can actually reach the goals that you have for your family. And it's really awesome the way we help with quoting too. We had this one girl, Sylvia. I'm going to be interviewing her on my podcast in a couple of weeks, but she had a construction company come to her and want a quote. And it was the biggest client she'd ever quoted. And she was going to quote $500 a month. And she came to our call and she told our coaches every single thing about this client. And the coach was like, no, you need to charge $1,000 a month to this client. It's going to be too much work and you're going to be resentful because you're going to underquote them. And so she was really nervous because she had never quoted anyone $1,000 a month before. But she went back to this client, she gave them the quote and proposed it just like we coached her and we showed her how, and they didn't even have a problem with it at all. And so she was able to charge that. And just that one piece of advice, that one piece of support that she got in the academy basically saved her or got her an extra $6,000 per year that she wouldn't have got if she just did it on her own. So, and if she has this client for years and years to come, obviously that $500 per month difference that we helped instill confidence in her to be able to quote appropriately, not only helped her, get a client and not feel resentful because it was too much work, but properly have the amount of money coming in that she needed based on the work that was going to be required. And so now, for all the lifetime that she has this client, which for me, all of my clients stayed the entire life of my business. I had, just a couple, 2-3 clients that ended up leaving for what various reasons. Their business wasn't doing well, or it was just not a good personality fit to work together. But majority of them, 90% of them stayed the whole time. So now she's going to have this client for years and years and years, and she's making $500 a month more than she would have thought to do on her own. So we really want to help you guys develop your quoting skills over the 12 months in the academy. So that way we can help make sure that you're always charging the best prices for your clients. So proper quoting is the number one most important piece to be able to get these results. And that's what is the first piece of science behind the business. But the second most important part is proper and efficient workflow. So there's a lot of different programs you can use, a lot of different way you can do bookkeeping, but we show you exactly what to use and how to do the work in the most efficient, organized, and streamlined workflow. So that way you are going to be able to get this stuff done quickly. And then when you calculate the total number of hours that you work on your clients and you divide that against the total money that you have coming in, you are going to make $100 an hour or more on your clients. And I'll show you when we do the cleanup work, when you do a whole bunch in one sitting, you actually make more than that because you can batch it. But the normal ongoing monthly work, between these two things, having proper quoting and then an efficient workflow that we show you how to do in the academy, that is what gets you $100 an hour or more. And then, of course, there's another piece too that's really important. When we help you build these businesses, we are thinking of things that as a new business owner, you would never think of in the beginning. So we're going to help you build your business, but we're thinking about the end. We're thinking about 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the road. And the hardest part sometimes of starting a business is not having that crystal ball. You don't know what you don't know yet, but we know what you don't know. So we're helping you set everything up from day one. So that way, when you get to the point towards the end of your business, you're set up for success. And there's two key things that we do with this. Number one, we want you to do quoting, and we want you to complete the work in an efficient way. So that way your business is so profitable that if you decide to hire a team and you want to have employees work for you at some point, that you're still going to be able to have profit in your business for yourself, even though you hire somebody to do the work. That's how businesses work, right? Like you guys wouldn't be able to work at these jobs if your boss or the owner of the company that you work for didn't build in extra profit for themselves, right? So we want to make sure that you guys do that too. You have to build in profit. So if you take a look at this chart that we were just looking at a few minutes ago, and you go down to the bottom, let's say you grow your business and you have enough clients that you want to hire a full-time bookkeeper or staff accountant to work for you, and they're going to work 40 hours a week. They are able to handle the client load that totals $20,000 of monthly income for your business. But like I've been showing you guys, right now, the going rate for a full-time bookkeeper is around $3,500 to $5,000 a month. 5,000 is on the high end, but I'm going to use that just for round number purposes. Most of our students, if they join the academy and they're leaving a bookkeeping job, they're making around 4,000. So, but if we round up to 5,000, if you are bringing in $20,000 a month, it's taking your employee the 40 hours a week to handle all the work, but you're paying your employee the better, a really good salary of 5,000 a month. Your business is still profiting $15,000 per month. So it's really cool because you're going to still have a lot of profit to be able to reach all of your financial, time, and location goals and be able to maintain that work-life balance that you want, but not actually have to do all of the work. And so here's how people scale businesses, and they hire multiple team members and so on and so forth. And then you can grow to 15,000 a month in profit. And then your second full-time employee, you have 30,000 a month in profit, and you've got 2 full-time team members that are actually doing all the work for you. So that's one thing that we do. And then also these businesses are really attractive to potential investors. So if you ever think in the future that you want to sell your business, these businesses are worth a lot. And they're worth a lot because of the reoccurring revenue. It's consistent, it's dependable, it comes into the business every single month. You can train people to work for you to where you, as a CEO, the owner, doesn't actually have to work in the business for it to still be really profitable. And that's what makes these businesses really attractive. So in and of itself, a bookkeeping business can be a retirement plan for you, even if you don't invest in a 401k or anything like that, because you can sell these later. I have a student right now who's growing her bookkeeping business. She started about a year and a half to 2 years ago, and she wants to grow her business to $5 million in revenue and then sell it. And then her and her husband want to retire. So it's definitely something that you can do. But if you build them right from day one, by doing proper quoting and efficient workflow, those are the only 2 things that you need to worry about, then you know that you're setting yourself up for success to be able to, in the future, hire employees and in the future, be able to sell your business. So to give you an idea, if your business is fairly small, like let's say it's $200,000 is how much you're making every year, then you can sell it for $200,000. If you grow it to be a little bit bigger, like let's say you grow your business and it's $1 million, and that's what you're making a year, $1 million, and you've got a team of like 4 or 5 people, then you could potentially sell your business for $2 million. I have a friend that has a business that was a little over $1 million in annual revenue, and she got an offer for like 2.2 million on her business. So really cool to be able to set that up. Tell me in the chat, what do you guys think about this? Does this make sense to you on now, like how achievable this really is and like why you can actually, make this kind of money working these kinds of hours? Okay, great. Yes, makes lots of sense. Yes, awesome. Okay, great. Perfect. Okay, so before we dive into the actual meat of how to find clients, I want to talk about one more thing. Morgan says, I would love this. It makes perfect sense. Okay, so when you get a new client, 9 times out of 10, maybe 99% of the time, they are behind in their bookkeeping, which means in addition to signing them up for monthly reoccurring income into the future, You also get to charge them for all the months that they didn't do their bookkeeping in the past, which is huge because a lot of times people will start businesses and they will put the bookkeeping on the back burner because they don't know how to do it. It stresses them out. They want to focus on growing their business. They don't want to focus on doing the bookkeeping. So they ignore it, ignore it, ignore it. Then they start getting tax notices, or then they need to apply for a loan and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. When COVID hit and everybody was applying for the SBA loans and the PPP loans and the EIDL loans, our students exploded with clients because everybody was scrambling to get their bookkeeping in order. So it's really, really important for clients to have their bookkeeping, but a lot of them put it off until it becomes a pain point for them. And so most of the time when you get a new client, they are so convinced that they're so ready to sign up that it's so easy to get them to say yes because they are in need. They are in desperate need. And with that comes the ability to charge them for this back work. So every time you get a new client, in addition to getting this monthly income promised to your family, you get basically like a sign-on bonus. I always call it a Christmas bonus because it's just awesome. It's like this extra money coming in. So I'm going to show you some examples of what some of our students here recently have done and when they've gotten new clients. So this first one is Kim. I mentioned her a little bit earlier on the call. She joined our program on October 17th of 2022. So about almost a year, she's almost up to a year in business. But she actually landed her first client 6 weeks after starting the Bookkeeper Academy and launching her business. And this client that she happened to get, like I mentioned earlier, it was a larger company. So she was able to charge $2,200 per month to complete the ongoing bookkeeping work. This client had a previous bookkeeper, and so he was switching over to Kim. So at first, Kim didn't think there was going to be any cleanup work involved, but once we got in there to help her work on the books, we helped her realize that there was a lot of things that the previous bookkeeper didn't do or did wrong. And so we were able to help her make a list of that, put together a quote of $9,000 to go clean up the prior year. And she proposed that to her client. And he actually just said, all right, take it out of the account and let's get this done. I want these books to be completed and cleaned. So this particular client, she got 6 weeks in. So during her second month of business, and the total amount of money she made in that second month was $11,000. The monthly fee plus the back work. This is really, really, really common. So, based on that reoccurring revenue chart that I showed you, the $2,200 was her monthly promised income. The $9,000 is a one-time thing, but it is a really cool one-time thing. And we really love the cleanup jobs. And a lot of times when you get the cleanup jobs, because you can do 10, 12, 24 months all in one time, and you can batch it, you end up making closer to $200 an hour when you end up dividing out how many hours it actually took you to do it all, into the amount of money that you received. So another example here is Alicia. She joined our academy on November 18th. So she's almost coming up on her first year in business as well. It took her about 3 weeks at the beginning to set up her business, go through some of the coursework, get ready to go. And then she launched her marketing plan on December 15th. So right about a month after starting the academy, she started marketing her business and she got her first client in 4 days. And this first client, which was really awesome, was behind on their books too. This one was a little bit bigger, so she was also able to charge a higher fee for this client. So it was $1,500 a month. That's something that's promised to her every month in the future for as long as she has this client. But they were behind 2 years in their bookkeeping. So she was able to charge $6,000 to clean up their books. And so basically in her first month of being in the academy, she made $7,500. So this is why I say, at the beginning, if you guys can even figure out a way to earmark just the first couple of payments, if you get a client like this within your first month or 2 or 3 months, you're going to have enough money to put back to cover tons of your future payments. And then of course you're going to get more clients, right? So that $7,500 that she made in her first month is paying for everything for the next year, right? So then all the other clients that she has is just extra profit, extra money coming in. Now, this next one I'm going to show you is a wild one. It's not the norm, but I love to show these because it showcases to you guys really what's possible. Like if you think $6,000 or $9,000 seems mind-blowing, I've got students that blow that out of the water too. So Jennifer here, she joined our program on August 12th. And I remember being on some calls with her at the beginning. She really didn't do much in her business for the first couple of months because she just was kind of scared, honestly. And she had to work on her mindset. She wasn't sure, if she wanted to go out and do the marketing. She wasn't sure if she wanted to really focus on it. And then we gave her a game plan. We helped her tweak her marketing plan, and she started just doing it. And then all of a sudden, these clients started rolling in like crazy. And on December 12th, which was right at her 4-month mark, she told our client our client success director, that she got this 5th client. And it was a larger one too, obviously, $2,200 a month recurring, like going forward. But they were so far behind in their bookkeeping that she was able to charge them $32,000 in cleanup work, which is insane and really, really exciting. And let me drop this link in here for everybody. I interviewed Jen on my podcast. So if you guys want to bookmark that link, you're welcome to. And she talks all about this. And she actually broke it out into monthly payments for this client. I think she spaced it out over like 4 months. So she didn't actually get all of that $34,000 of cash right in her 4th month. It was kind of spaced out, but she did collect all of it. And she ended up making, I want to say, $120,000 in her bookkeeping business within about 7 months. Obviously, a lot of it was attributable to this client, but still really impressive. And I want to showcase this because it's not normal to get a client cleanup job that big, but there are clients out there. It is a possibility. What we typically see more than anything, though, is cleanup jobs range from like $1,500 to $10,000. And you can space them out like Jen spaced out the payments. It took her like 4 or 5 months of like working on this client little by little before they were completely caught up. So it's not something that, you would have to like sit and do all in one sitting. It takes some time to go through that. And we helped her through that whole process, which is awesome. Kapua says, how long of Bookkeeper Academy would it take for someone with no bookkeeping experience until we would feel prepared to do a cleanup? Great question. So Jennifer here, actually all 3 of these ladies that I showed you guys examples, like all 3 of them here, none of them had experience. Kim had an accounting degree, but she was working as a administrative assistant at an insurance company. Alicia works as a healthcare representative, doesn't have any experience with QuickBooks, didn't have an accounting degree. Jennifer worked as like a secretary at a construction company and never worked in QuickBooks. All of these ladies were brand new at doing this. And the cool thing is they followed the plan. They followed the plan, they followed the steps, they executed what we taught, even though I'm going to be honest, at times they were very scared. They were nervous to do it because they didn't have the skills yet. They didn't have the experience. How much do you think Kim and Alicia and Jennifer learned when they did these cleanup jobs? A ton. They learned a ton. And then from there, that even helped boost their confidence up so much. And we assist with them with these cleanup jobs every single step of the way, every little bit. So we're available. We have crazy hours in our academy that we help students with every single step of the way. So you're not ever going to feel like, I can't do this, because we'll be right there to help you. So feeling prepared, I mean, sometimes I don't even feel prepared now. I don't know that anyone ever feels prepared to do these things, but you will be empowered to be able to take on these clients, get this income, get this money coming in, and then we will help assist you and show you the whole way. So also, whenever you do these cleanup jobs, after you're done, we have free financial statement reviews that we do for our clients in the Bookkeeper Academy. So every single client that you have, you can say, hey, can you check over this and make sure I do it right? And then we will actually send you a video back going over all the financials in detail. So depending on how big your client is, those videos range anywhere from 15 minutes to 60 minutes, just depending on how much is involved with it. But great question, Kapua. Did that help answer that? Savior says, what software do you use, or do you have a preferred software? So yes, we do teach our clients and our students to use QuickBooks Online primarily, because that is the way we can really help you hone in on being super efficient. Sometimes our students do use QuickBooks Desktop or some other program, but primarily we do recommend that you use or have your clients use QuickBooks Online. As a bookkeeper, you guys will all get free access to that program, and your clients will pay QuickBooks directly, but I set you guys up as a preferred vendor so that you actually get a commission when your clients sign up for QuickBooks, which is another cool thing you get. And then your client grants you access so you can actually log into all of your clients' QuickBooks accounts from your one login, which is cool. Nona says, so this includes learning bookkeeping. Does it include learning about taxes? Right. We do teach you all about bookkeeping, all about owning a business, all about quoting, all about marketing. And then we do have, for our Academy students only, we do have a tax course that you get to go through. But we don't teach you how to prepare taxes, except for sales and payroll. We do help with that. But income tax, like to the IRS and stuff, we recommend that you do not do that for at least the first couple of years. But we do have a full tax course, because the more bookkeepers know about tax, the easier your job is. Maisha says, I'm familiar with QuickBooks. Awesome. That's great. And we can show you all the best practices with how we use QuickBooks. Kapua says, most definitely, I read about imposter syndrome, but I feel so much more comfortable hearing you say that we're continually being supported. Yes, absolutely. Everyone feels imposter syndrome, just so you know, guys, is just a fancy word for saying I'm scared. It's just like a fancy thing for fear. And every single person feels fear. In our program, our coaches feel fear sometimes when they have to get on calls. I feel fear when I have to get on these calls. The more I do it, the less fear I feel. So it's kind of like a muscle, like you work a muscle and you get more used to it. But it's very common, and it's normal to feel scared or feel imposter syndrome. What separates the successful people apart from people that don't have as much success is how willing will you be to sit in that fear or push past it? Because do you want to let the fear win, or do you want to win? And that's the thing. Like, the fear is probably always going to be there from time to time, but making yourself push past it, that's what really gets you success. Nona says, I don't want the tax liability, but do need to have a clue. Exactly. That is exactly why we recommend this. And we also show you, I'll talk about this in more detail in a minute, but we show you exactly how to partner with tax people, that you can have that referral relationship with them. So anytime your clients start asking you a bunch of tax questions, you can say, that's a great question. Let me connect you with my tax partner. And then anytime your tax partner needs bookkeeping help, they send people to you. It's so awesome. So I'll show you about that. Cynthia says, do you have to be certified to do bookkeeping? Ooh, great question. No, only if you're in Australia or New Zealand. Those are the only places that I know of in the entire world that requires any kind of certification to actually be a bookkeeper. So in the US, in Canada, in the UK, wherever you are, you don't have to be certified in any way. You don't have to have a degree. And did you guys know you don't even have to have that to do taxes? It's kind of crazy. But so you can really do this no matter what. And my thing is, like, you guys just promise to yourself that you're going to do a great job. We won't let you down in the academy. We'll help you make sure that you're doing a great job. And as long as you can promise that to yourself, that you're going to do a great job for your clients, that's all you really need. You don't need a certification. Now, with that being said, we do have the option for you to get a pro advisor certification through QuickBooks, and that's free to do. It can be kind of time consuming, and it's mostly related to learning their software more than it is to like am I going to be a successful bookkeeping business owner? But once you do your certification, you get to have a public listing on QuickBooks website. And so sometimes our students get clients from that. So over time, we do recommend that you squeeze that in somewhere and get the Pro Advisor certification, but it's not something you have to do right away. These are great questions. Let's see. And Teresa asked a question about paying. So like you can definitely pay more than the $640 down. So if you have a special payment plan where you want to pay, Teresa wants to pay half up front and then pay the balance as monthly payments, we can absolutely do that. The minimum that we require to put down is $3,000 if you want to go through us directly. If you want to go through the funding specialist, the minimum that you have to put down is $640. So it's super inexpensive to get started, but I can email you those details too, Teresa. Okay, and then so we helped all of the ladies from this slide. We helped them once they got these potential clients, we help them understand like how to handle all the steps leading up to getting paid and then all of the steps that come after as well. So we help them understand how to conduct a client discovery call. We help them understand how to quote properly. We help them understand how to propose the quote to the client and explain the value of what they are offering so that the client would say yes. And we showed them how to onboard the clients, what information they would need to be able to do the work. Then we showed them how to complete the cleanup job, break it down into manageable steps, slowly work through that process, but then also how to complete the ongoing monthly work in that most efficient way so that they're making a minimum of $100 an hour. So that's like the real meat of everything. We really help all of our students do all of that and learn all of that. And we help and we hold, lock arms with you to learn how to do all of that. But most importantly, the most important thing, because you don't have a business without this, is we actually help them find these clients as well. And obviously, as you guys know, that skill is called marketing, but it's really just building relationships with other business owners and letting them know what you do. Because if you learn how to develop that skill of communicating with potential clients and being able to find where they are and how to get in front of them through marketing, then you will forever be in control of how much money comes into your family for the rest of your lives. This is the number one most important piece that I feel like we teach in our academy, because without this skill, you don't have a business. And without this skill, you can't reach your financial goals. So like I mentioned earlier, from time to time, I do refer out clients to my students, but it's really important for me to teach you guys how to do this on your own, because that's where the real control comes in your life. And you're able to actually understand how to bring in money anytime you want. So you can turn off your marketing when you guys are in that coast mode, like I mentioned before, but when you want more money coming in, you turn it back on. So I had this student named Robin a couple years ago, and she had a dentist bill. She has 5 kids. She lives in Alaska and she likes to homeschool a lot of them. So she juggles a lot, but she had a student or a daughter that went to the dentist and needed like $1,800 worth of dental work. And she said she got home and she just started doing some marketing, and she ended up getting on a call with someone and they said, yeah, let's move forward. Ended up being like an $1,800 cleanup job. And so it's like great, because you can almost like manifest the money that you need in your life by literally just taking action with marketing. So whether you're like woo-woo and you believe in the universe, or you just believe in taking action, this is how you make things happen for yourself, is really learning marketing. Now, we teach 3 main methods in our academy. Every single method has been proven to get our students to $100,000 mark in their first year in business. So you can pick one and just focus solely on that. Or you can do all 3. If you do all 3, you're just going to reach your goals faster, but you don't have to do all 3 if one of these resonate with you more than the other. So we give you the opportunity to pick. So the first one where our students have a lot of success with is social media marketing. This is very like low key. You don't have to be an influencer type person. Your social media doesn't need to look anything like mine. My bookkeeping business social media looked nothing like ours does now for this academy. But we teach you how to just get started with this. And there's no cost associated with it at all. We help you utilize the platforms you're already familiar with, whichever ones you prefer. And then we show you how to post content that actually gets like business owners interested in reaching out to you. So you don't have to be salesy, slimy. You don't have to direct message random people. Although if you do, that works as well. But this method helps you connect with other business owners. And it also helps you kind of get in front of them where they are seeing what you're posting, and that makes them interested. Oh, I actually have that same pain point. Oh, I actually need help with that. Maybe this person can help me. And so a lot of times they end up reaching out to you, or someone will see your post and tag somebody else that they know that is in need. So for example, Kim, the one that got the $9,000 cleanup job, she got her first client because she posted her life event. It's one of the first things we have you guys do when you start your business on social media. It gets a lot of views for some reason. And she posted that following our steps, following our outline. And someone she went to high school with knew another business that needed help, and they tagged her in this other business's post because they saw her post about starting her bookkeeping business. And so it's like connections like that. That's how the social media works. It works really well. Then the second marketing option that we have is really, really awesome too. This is called networking groups. You can do these in person or online, but it's a really awesome strategy to get referrals from other business owners. And then these other businesses that are in these networking groups with you, they will actually start sharing your information to everybody that they talk to. So it's a really cool way to expand your reach. And these networking groups tend to be like a little family, a second family. So once you start working from home, it's nice once a week to get out and go have lunch with these people and network with them and whatnot. So this one does usually have a fee. Most of the really, really good groups are around $800 to $1,000 for an annual membership. So it's something you can work up to if you don't want to make the investment in the academy and make the investment in the networking group right away. You can work on the other free marketing options first, get a few clients, and then maybe join this networking group. I made $60,000 from my networking group in the first year that I joined. So it's pretty awesome. We have a lot of students just getting tons of clients right now from networking groups. In fact, Terry, if you guys go back through and watch all my weekly wins videos on my page, Terry just got $7,000 this month, literally from cleanup jobs from people that she got referred to in her networking group, which is really super cool. And then the last thing we have for you is email marketing. So we teach you how to find a large list of business owners and a large list of tax professionals. And then we help you implement 2 separate email campaigns for both of these types of people. Obviously, the business owners would be responding back to you and they're wanting more information about signing up for bookkeeping. But the tax offices, we show you how to create referral arrangements with several tax offices and CPAs, because most of the time the tax offices are super busy with all the tax returns. They don't have time to take on bookkeeping clients, but you can't get your taxes done unless the bookkeeping is done. So tax offices like to partner with bookkeepers so that way they can refer out their clients' bookkeeping work. The bookkeepers can get it done and then they can do the taxes. So those 2 methods work really, really well. Those 2 different email campaigns, our students get a ton of referrals that way. I have a student, I'm actually in about 2 weeks, I'm going to Jamaica with the student named Kaylee Douglas. She's also someone I interviewed on my podcast. But she hasn't done marketing in over a year because she has a referral relationship with a tax office in her town that's really big, and he sends her clients all the time. So it's just amazing how much she can grow her business and not have to even actually do marketing. So we teach you all of these strategies. I am curious, can you guys type in the chat which one of these things is going to be the one that you would want to start with? type a 1 for social media marketing, a 2 for networking groups, or a 3 for email marketing. And if you want to do multiple ones, feel free to type all the numbers. Okay, great. So social media for May, social media and email for Morgan, networking for Rachel, networking and email for Ande. Awesome. Okay. Tracy wants to do all 3. I love it. Great. Okay. So I'm glad that you guys found, one that would work well for you. That's the thing. You only need one to start. And then over time, you might think, okay, I'm going to do all of them. This is awesome. Okay. So would you guys now like to kind of see how we support our students? I've already kind of talked quite a bit about, exactly how we help, but I can show you more like actual details of what our support looks like so you guys have an idea. Drop a thumbs up if you guys are interested to see what our academy is like, how we roll out that support, how we help you support, not like what we do to help you, but the how. Does that sound good? All right. Aisha's thumbs up. Ande, thumbs up. Natalie. Hey, Natalie, I recognize your name. All right. Okay. So the first thing that we have is our members only private Facebook group. So we have a couple hundred students in here, and a whole handful of them are in their second, third, and fourth year. So even though this first part of the academy is a 12-month term, we have a lot of students that renew and stay in even after in their second, third, fourth year because they value the support and the help so much. So that's the first thing. And in the Facebook group, you get to collaborate with not only all the other people that are growing their businesses and have similar life situations as you, but also the people in their second, third, and fourth year. You get to collaborate with them. For example, Kaylee Douglas, who I'm going to Jamaica with, who is making almost $500,000 in her bookkeeping business. She's only 26 years old, and she comes on every now and then to our group Zoom calls, and she will talk about, what's brought her success and give you guys tips and tricks and answer all of your questions too, which is really, really awesome. And then of course we have like 8 different people from our team that are all experts in either growing a business or doing bookkeeping, stuff like that you have at your disposal as well. The cool thing about our Facebook group, though, is that we treat it like a knowledge base and a ticketing system. So there is years and years worth of questions in there that you can search so you can get answers really fast. But if you want to type your own question in, we treat every question like a ticket. And it's timed. I like to grade my coaches on how fast they can respond and how awesome their answers are and how much they're teaching you guys. So we treat everything like a ticket. We score everything, but you can ask any questions related to any topics that pertain to growing your business. That could be like sales, it could be marketing, it could be quoting, it could be how to use QuickBooks, it could be technical bookkeeping or technical tax questions, it could be workflow, it could be mindset, like, hey, I'm struggling with like, how do I make myself do this? Or how do I charge this much to my client? I've never even made this much money in 1 month in my whole life. So there's lots of things that you'll want to overcome as you start your business, and we help with all of that. And we answer questions 6 days a week, and Sundays are our only days that we're closed. And then on Monday, if you post a question on Sunday, we answer it Monday morning. But we typically do 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time. And right now we have like a 45-minute response time on every single question that is posted, which is really awesome for you guys, especially some of you that like work a lot. You're not going to have time to wait for hours and hours for answers. You need quick answers, and you need to be able to move on to the next thing and start checking these things off your list and moving to reaching your goals. So here's an example of what it looks like when we kind of grade. It's kind of a game for us to like grade our coaches. So as you can see here, there were 578 questions asked in the group during this time frame. We call it tickets. 71% of those questions were answered on the first touch, but we were able to fully explain the answer to the question with the very first answer, which was given with on an average 42-minute response time. On occasion, we have to ask some clarifying questions to really know how to help you guys. And so when that happens, it can take a little bit longer, but our full resolution time for all 578 questions was 65 minutes. So you guys are going to get really fast help, really fast answers. And we also have anywhere from 7 to 8 Zoom calls every week, every single week. Sometimes we throw in more, and it kind of shifts and changes depending on the season. Like when tax season rolls around, we're going to probably add more calls. But typically the calls are like Monday through Thursday at 12 Central. We don't have the Tuesday call right now. We have a Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central. And these range anywhere from like 60 minutes to 120 minutes, just depending on how long people are on there, how many people are on, how many questions they have. We try to stay on until every question is answered. So sometimes people are nervous about getting on these Zoom calls, but it's really an awesome environment. And you can start off, keeping your camera off, keeping yourself on mute. You don't have to, come and start talking to everybody right away. But a lot of people, what they do is their first few weeks, they just try to attend as many as they can, whether it's live or whether they're watching the replay, and they try to get a feel for what they're going to learn and what other students are asking and things like that. And then over time, as you start making some progress with your business, you'll have questions and you can type them in the chat like you guys are doing here, or you can unmute and ask our coaches directly. But you also have a client success director that's going to work with you one-on-one over email. And this particular person is really going to help you stay on track to your goals. So, as you guys have these things you want to hit, these milestones, there's things that you have to do in order to reach these milestones. So we're going to help you stay on track to your goals, know exactly what your to-do list is going to be, and help you work through that. So that way you can start seeing some clients come in, getting some traction, and moving on to the next goal. And then, of course, like I mentioned, we have coursework that is specific only to our Academy students. Like you're going to get our quoting course, our quoting tool, but you're also going to get the tax course and a whole bunch of other stuff that only our Academy students get access to. And there are tons of video trainings that we have, but we don't really want you to watch them all prior to starting your business. It's not going to be the best use of your time. So as you start getting clients and you have specific questions, our client success director, you can say, hey, I'm struggling with this, and she can point you to the right spot of where we cover it in the course. So that way you don't have to try to learn all of this stuff prior to getting a client like you would normally have to do if you were going to college. We don't want that. It takes too long. You guys need to reach your goals now. You have a life to live. So we want to help you make money and learn this stuff over time. It's important to learn all of this stuff, but it's also really important for your life, your goals, and your happiness to go ahead and start making money. So what we typically see when people are in the Academy is their first couple of weeks, they're setting up their business, their back office, getting everything ready for clients from a technical standpoint. And then this is where they do some basic learning. They learn the basics of bookkeeping, the basics of business ownership. They learn what it looks like to provide this amazing service to your clients. And then they learn how to communicate intelligently with a potential client. So if you've never done bookkeeping before, you're going to learn how to talk to someone about it. And then we're also going to show you how to conduct a potential client discovery call. We have scripts for everything, so you know exactly what questions to ask. All of this is just like no brainer, super easy for you guys to be able to just rock and roll. And then usually around week 3 and 4 is where our team helps you develop your marketing plan out of those 3 methods. What are you going to do? And then we help you get it rolling. And then we give you support, feedback, you bring questions, and we help you tweak it. So that way you'll start getting your first few clients. And on average, we see this happen like by month 2, you're going to get your first several clients. You're going to start making $1,000 to $2,000 to $3,000 a month. And then we're going to help you with these clients with the cleanup jobs, with knowing how to onboard them and really understanding and learning how to do the work. And then from there on out, it's basically like rinse and repeat. And over time, you are going to really learn how to scale your marketing, really fine tune that quoting and understand what to do there. And then as you get experience with clients in all different industries, with our help, because we've seen it all, we've worked with every type of client, you're going to become an expert bookkeeper. And you're going to really know how to set that foundation for your business that gives you the financial location and time freedom that you guys are all really striving for. So with that being said, what do you guys think? How many of you are interested in moving forward with a bookkeeping business right now? And how many, who has questions? I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Lots of thumbs ups. You guys have all stuck on here with me so long. This is fantastic. So, from here, I am going to share with you the funding link as well. Kapua says, I'm interested. Tracy says yes. Michael says yes. So let me pull up the funding link so you guys can see exactly what this looks like. Where did it go? And then put a 1 in the chat if you feel like you're going to apply for funding. I got that link, and then this one. Let me get the second one. Okay, 1-1. Awesome. For sure. That is great. Okay, I'm going to drop this link in here. I can't get to it. Okay, this first link that I'm going to put in here, it takes about 5 minutes to apply. If you click on that link, you guys could go ahead and do it right now if you want. So that way you can ask me any questions for those of you that want to do it. And it takes about 5 minutes to apply. You are going to know within a very short time if you are pre-approved. Let's see, it is this screen. I'm going to share my screen again. This is our main link. This is where you would potentially be eligible to get the lowest rate of the $290. So if you go through this and apply this, they're going to let you know within a couple of hours if you're pre-approved for the lower rate. If not, you're going to go automatically into our guaranteed approval system where your monthly rate is going to be $640. So when you are approved for that, it is instantaneous. It is immediate. Did I put this in the chat yet? So if you're ready to go ahead and apply right now because you're going to get instantly approved, probably literally before the end of the day. And so what happens there is you're going to make your first payment of $640, worst case scenario, and then be able to onboard in our academy literally by tomorrow morning. If you have to wait for your next paycheck, that is totally okay. You can actually go ahead and apply if you want to. And then that way, just book your call because you'll have a call with the funding specialist. Just book your call for your paycheck, your payday. So that would be perfectly fine to be able to do that. Because once you get on that call, they're just going to get you all squared away, like right away. So if you're, ready to go, that's the best time to book your call. And no, Kapua, you don't have to put the $3,000 down for the guaranteed approval. You don't. If you have the funds that you want to pay us directly, then we can give you a link for $3,000 down. That'll get you started. And then monthly payments for the remaining $9,000 kick in at month 4. So either way is fine with us. Which one do you prefer? Most people prefer the smaller payment down, but we're happy to help. We're happy to do it that way as well. Kind of helps you pay it off faster. All right. So let me know if you guys, for all of you that are applying for funding, so I can watch for your applications to come in. Yeah. So start there with that link. And then, like I said, 5 minutes to apply. And then it literally takes minutes, it's maybe a couple hours for them to give you a decision. And then from there, it's just ready to go. So for those of you that are excited to get started, we can literally onboard you tomorrow, which is fantastic, which is great because it's Friday. It gives you the weekend to kind of get settled in and start learning some stuff and be ready to go. I'm excited to work with you guys, Morgan and Kapua and Tracy. If we have questions after the call, how can we get a hold of you? Oh, great question. Let me, I'll put my email address in here. if you guys want to copy that, it's Tiffany@stayatHomeBookkeeper.com. Also, my husband, Sean, will be reaching out to all of you guys either this afternoon or tomorrow as well, just to check in, see what questions that you have. And you're more than welcome to ask me any questions that you guys can think of right now. And if you want to put it in the Q&A, you can even ask them anonymously. I'm happy to answer any question that you guys can think of. You're also welcome to join me again on Saturday. But of course, like if you're ready to get started, reaching your goals, reaching your dreams, then I say, let's go ahead and do it. And let's get you in there. Let's get you in there tomorrow. So that way you have the weekend to really get started with this. And there's my husband, Sean. He said, I know I have spoken with some of you already. I'm always here if you have a question. Yes. Xavier says, for some of us who want to think about it before making a decision, what do we need to do? Great question. So I guess it depends on what you're thinking about. So if you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to get on a call with you directly if there's just some things that you want to like hammer through. Xavier, do you feel like you need to talk it through with somebody, or if there's a certain thing that's like holding you back? I would love to know what that is, because I can help answer that question and maybe, provide some clarity around whatever is making you want to hesitate. Because it's usually just some kind of like unknown thing. Like you're thinking, well, this sounds great, but there's this one thing in the back of my mind. So if you can pinpoint what that is, I can definitely address it and see if that's helpful. But I know some people are like, I know I want to do this right away, and they want to go. And then other people are thinkers. They got to think about it. They have to analyze everything. And that's just personality. Like everybody's different, right? So there's nothing wrong with either way. But you can always reach out to us. You can also attend these calls. And if you feel like you need to talk it through with someone in your family or something like that, I would really encourage you to bring them to this call. So that way they really have all of the information and you're not having to like pass it on to them. Because this is a lot, right? I mean, this is kind of hard to explain to somebody that hasn't sat on this webinar. So if you want to bring them on Saturday, or even, I'll send out this recording after it processes so you can share it with someone. But yes, Sean is going to reach out to everybody. And that way you've got his cell, and you can text him back and forth. Anytime you think of a question, we're always here. Just shoot us a quick text and we can go from there. So congratulations, Kapua. It looks like your application is already submitted. Fantastic. Morgan says, after approval, is there a time limit to make the payment? I don't think so, Morgan, but I do know the funding specialist keeps begging me to make sure we tell everybody, don't book your appointment unless you're comfortable with the payment, because they don't want to be on the phone to, try to help you guys understand the payment. They just want to get you signed up. So as soon as you're ready to make the payment, then I'd say go ahead and, so like you could apply today. If your paycheck is like next Friday, then go ahead and schedule the call for next Friday. And then that way you can just make the payment and get right in. Does that make sense? Xavier says, I would like to think about it. Absolutely. And as you're thinking about it, just don't hesitate to shoot us a text and let us know what questions come up. Cynthia says, does this program teach QuickBooks? If you have basic QuickBooks Pro Advisor certification, do you necessarily need to get advanced Pro Advisor certification at all? So Cynthia, yes, we do focus on QuickBooks, primarily QuickBooks Online. And if you already have your basic Pro Advisor certification, that's great. I would say from there, then you want to just set up your Intuit profile, because you can actually get clients that way. Some of our students like to be advanced Pro Advisor because they like to challenge themselves. They like to continue to learn, and they want to have that to put on their website or whatever. So you can do that. However, I always recommend that you do those things after you've reached some of your goals, because getting your Pro Advisor certification is not going to help you get more clients. It's just something that you maybe just want to accomplish, right? So I would vote doing that after you've at least reached your first bare minimum goal, and then maybe do that, and then reach your second goal, and then do some other learning or something else. You know what I mean? So Hey, congrats, May. It looks like May's application has been submitted. Awesome. How exciting. We're going to stay on top of the funding specialists so they can make sure get you guys going like really quick. That is exciting. Great questions. What other questions can I answer for you guys? Let's see. Who all do we have? Let's see, Bernadette. I didn't hear much from you today, or Beth or Chanel. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Got two Cynthias on here. What about both of you guys? Hey, Dana, I've been texting you. Good to see you on here. Are you going to apply for funding, Dana? Hey, Jackie. What do you think, Jennifer? With all the amount of hours you're going to save, is this something that you feel like is going to be a good move for your family? Kathy and Christy, I didn't hear much from you in the chat. How's it going? Maria as well. How are you feeling? Maisha, what do you think too? You were very active. I loved listening to all of the stuff that you were commenting. What are your questions? What do you think? And Michael, I'm so happy to have you back on here again. Feeling a little bit more excited each time. And Monique and Morgan. Yes, Natalie. Let's see. Teresa says, if I decide to pay half now and pay off within 6 months. Yep. Teresa, would you like me to send you an invoice for that? I can absolutely do that. And then Chanel says, I would love to start, but I will have to apply in December. Okay, that sounds good. You know, we're gonna be here. So if you've got something going on that you have to wait until then, that's totally fine. If you can start now, that's even better. Let's see. Cynthia Bingham says, think about it. All right. Don't forget to shoot us a text as you're thinking about it. Anytime something comes up and you're like, but what about this? Or what about this? Or I don't know if it's going to work for me because of this. You know, feel free to just text us because we are, you know, we're going to be completely transparent with you. Let's see. All right. Misha says, trying to move things around so I can see if I can manage the payments. Awesome. Great. I love that. Just keep in mind, if you can even just swing it for 2-3 months so that you can get some traction with your business, you'll be good to go. So I know that sometimes for people that can be a little bit of a risk, but it could be well worth it. Well worth it. Teresa, yes, if you pay half down, the rest of it would be interest free, 100%. Sean, do you want to send Teresa an invoice through QuickBooks for $6,000 and that way she's got it handy? Awesome. Michael says, yes, I'm going to talk to family about smaller donations to add up to what I need to start. That's awesome. Yes. I had this one girl, her name was Rebecca, and she actually joined my mastermind program a few years ago. And her dad actually invested in her business to help her get it going. And it has completely changed her family's lives. Her husband couldn't work, and she was always a stay-at-home mom that homeschooled her kids, and she had a special needs kid and her husband got sick. She had to do something. And now she was able to start this business, and she got to stay home, continue to stay home with her kids, also be able to help take care of her husband. And then she got to hire her best friend to work for her. So, I mean, I have chills, even just saying that to you guys, how awesome it's being. All right. I like what I've heard about the program, but I have to run it by my husband first. Yes, absolutely. For sure. And it's great too, Cynthia, if you want to bring your husband to one of these calls as well, because a lot of times these are joint decisions. This is something you guys have to make a decision as a family, and that's totally fine. My husband's not used to that because I just do things all the time, and he's like, oh. But yeah, I mean, it's great to do that. And I highly encourage, have him watch this recording or hop on here so he can ask questions too and feel excited about it. Let's see. Jennifer says, I had already set up my LLC from the first time I did the course. Oh, okay. Back in 2020, Facebook page up and no luck with clients, had 2 potentials, but one thought was too much. The other had a lot of tax issues and did not want to provide everything I needed. I feel like living in this small town has been really hard to get clients is it's all about who you know, how will this help me? Okay, so whenever we do things on our own, we have no idea if we're doing it the right way, if our efforts are actually, paying off, if we're even on the right track. And so sometimes you can tell ourselves stories like, oh, this is just not going to work for me or whatever. When in actuality, if you would have just gone a little bit further or maybe put a little bit different effort into marketing, you could have had a completely drastically different outcome, which is what is a huge difference with doing the academy versus just doing a course. I need to Google this and I'm not sure what it is, but maybe you guys can Google it. But what is the percentage of people that actually have results with a DIY course? It's got to be minimal. Like most people that purchase our bookkeeping course don't even watch it. They don't even have the discipline to like push out all of the noise from their life, because let's face it, we are all constantly on, we're all constantly busy. We always have people texting us, calling us, Facebook messaging, well, all that stuff. So to be able to then prioritize something that you're not really even sure how to do yet on your own, it's so hard. And then knowing like what to do when things don't work out perfectly. Like I mentioned to you, Jen, who got that $32,000 cleanup job, she was like a couple months in and thought, I don't know if this is going to work for me. She literally said that to me on a call. And all we had to do is provide her some support, some guidance, help her tweak her outlook, help her tweak her marketing plan, and boom, she just exploded. And by a couple more months, she had 5 clients, and then she had that cleanup job. So that is a huge difference with being in the academy. So the only reason that you didn't have luck in the past is because you stopped. If you keep going, it also, there's no way to fail at this. And then having that support in the academy really helps you not only avoid giving up, but have that confidence to back you too, so that you know exactly what you're doing. And maybe talking to some of those clients, like not everybody is going to say yes to you, but if somebody does say no, it could be because, hey, let's tweak our proposal. Let's tweak how we're presenting this price. So a lot of times with students, I will say, okay, instead of just presenting the price, why don't we give them 2 options? How about package A and package B? And that way it's not yes or no, it's do you want A or B? And then another thing too, that we always coach our students on, that most people don't know this if they are trying to do it on their own, you have to present the price either on the phone or on a Zoom call. If you email it or you text it or something like that, it doesn't give you the opportunity to talk through any of their questions or concerns. And then sometimes that leads to people ghosting you. So it's just like all those little things that you learn in our academy that over time can like really have this big compounding effect on your success, really. We look forward to hearing from you, Xavier. And Jennifer, did that kind of answer your question? Do you feel more confident in how we can help you? And you're kind of right to a certain extent. It does begin to be about who you know, because obviously if no one knows that you have a bookkeeping business, then no one's going to know. So you're not going to get clients. But you don't have to be some well-known person to start. Like when I first started my business, I worked in a really small firm. We only had 7 employees. I didn't do anything because I took care of my kids all the time. I didn't have hobbies. I didn't have a big group of friends. I lived in a city that I didn't grow up in. And so when I started my business, the only people I knew were like the few people that my kids hung out with. I knew their parents, and the 4 or 5 people that I used to work with that I couldn't leverage at all because they were my ex-coworkers. So I started out with nothing, with not knowing anyone. And over time, you will meet lots of people, lots of business owners, and it is all about the luck of who you run into. Like I remember the pivotal moment, I can't even say that word. When I got this one client who actually pushed me over the threshold of being able to tell my husband, put in your notice. And it was just completely random. It was completely random and it was exciting. But that's, yeah, running into people like that, you end up, yeah, meeting people, and that does help you grow your business. Morgan says, I'm a bit nervous. I'm ready, but nervous because I'd love to do something more for the income as you've explained. How does the course work? Videos or calls and such? Yes. And Morgan, totally normal for everybody on here. I mean, it's really normal to be nervous. Even if you start any business, you're going to feel nervous. Any change makes us nervous typically. So it's totally normal. It's just, you got to start training yourself to take action in spite of being nervous or being, having some fear. You still just got to make yourself move forward, which we all know you can do, Morgan. You have like 4 jobs. It's nerve-wracking to get new jobs too. And you've overcome that, and you've gotten really good at all of them, and, things like that. So but as far as like, how does it work? We do have some basic coursework. Most of it's videos. We do have some PDF stuff that you're going to go through, and that is going to walk you through like how to set things up, how to get things ready to go. And then we do have live calls that you hop on. Like I said, like 7 to 8 of them every single week. And then we also have the ability for you to submit written questions. And so we can explain everything in that format as well. So it's a mixture between recorded videos, PDFs, written questions and answers, and then live group Q&A. And I don't like to talk about this on here because people get real excited about this, but if you have a problem that you need to talk through with something that's bookkeeping related, and we can't do it without basically breaching privacy with your clients, we will do a one-on-one call with you to help you with your clients' books. So there is even a one-on-one element in our program, but we do require people go through like a proper support protocol to get to that point. But just so you guys know, I mean, we are here to help you every step of the way. Chanel, the program is $12,000 for the whole year. You can get started with as little as $640 down if you go through our funding. And I'll drop the link in here, but make sure you only apply if you are ready to make that first $640 payment. Now, if you do have really good credit, you could be eligible for only $290 as your monthly payment, but worst case scenario, $640 to get started. So click that link to apply, and then you can book your call out for whatever day that you're ready to make your first payment. And if your credit is bad, no problem. Everyone is approved because our program helps people make money so fast that this lender is fully, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, they are totally on board with helping everyone. So even if you have bad credit or you don't even have income, you can still get approved. So it takes 5 minutes to click that link. The only requirement, Chanel and everybody else watching, is that you just need to make sure that worst case scenario, you're able to make that $640 monthly payment for a few months until you start getting clients coming in. So when you click that link, it takes 5 minutes to apply. You're going to hear back within a couple hours. They're going to ask you to book a call to move forward. Schedule your call for the date that you can make that first payment, because they want you to get on the call, make the payment, sign the terms, and then you're ready to enroll in the academy. So it all happens really, really fast, but they don't like talking to people that aren't ready to make that payment because they want to maximize these calls. They want to get you guys going really quickly. So you can go ahead and apply now though, so you can understand what your options are. Worst case scenario, it'll be $640 per month. And then they'll ask you to book a call with their team. You book your call for the date that you can make your first payment, and then you're good to go. And then we get you in. It all happens really fast. Last Saturday, Crystal applied while she was on the call and was completely approved and enrolled in our academy Monday morning. It was amazing. So it all just happens really super fast. Great question. Let's see. Traylon and Vanessa and Wendy, how are you guys feeling about things? What questions can I answer for you? Oh, Jennifer says, Morgan says, are the calls through the day like this? So we do have calls. Most of our calls are at 12 p.m. Central Time, but we do have a call on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. And when tax season rolls back around, we'll probably add a few more availability. So they change. So for those of you that maybe can't make the day calls, we have an option where you can actually submit a question and we can answer those questions for you on the live call, and then tell you, here, click this link at about the 15-minute mark is when I answered your question. And then, go back and forth if you still have more that you need to ask. Or if you can do it on your lunch break. I know a lot of people have attended these calls, listened in on their lunch break, have their headphones on or whatever. I've even had a lot of people that were on these calls during, driving around to their jobs and things like that. So, yep. And you can watch the replay. When you're in the academy, you get access to all the recordings as well. Jennifer says, absolutely. And it probably doesn't help that I'm not big on frequently posting. I'm always hopeful and willing to do what I need to, but funding is an issue when you're making ends meet. Hopefully I can move forward with this sooner than later. Yes, this has been something you've wanted to do, like going on 3 years now, Jennifer. We need to make it a real possibility and realize these goals that you have for yourself. So we would love to be able to do that. If there's any way you can finagle stuff and move some stuff around so you can make that payment for a couple of months, let's get you some traction. All right, Michael, glad to have you on here. I hope you have a great night's sleep, and we'll see you soon. All right, congrats, Morgan. I see that you submitted your application as well. Good job. So excited for you. Dana, I know we've been talking quite a bit. How do you feel about submitting your application? Are you coming in? Traylon says, nervous trying to figure out if I can afford the $640. If it came down to me needing to pay the $640, I have 5 kids and bills. It scares me. I want to do this. I just don't want to stress myself. I may need to make sure I have at least 4 months of payments just to keep my mind at ease. Yes. Well, it depends on your schedule too. Traylon, are you working also full-time and you've got the kids? Do you do all that by yourself? How much time do you think you can spend on getting some traction? Do you think you can do it like an hour a day to get going? So tell me those things, some of those answers, and then I'll let you know my opinion on taking that risk. Michael says, thank you. Looking forward to the possibilities. Yes, I'm excited for you too, Michael. Morgan said, I work thirds and middays, about to leave, and bills are my uphold right now. Yes. Understand. Tracy says, very interested, talking with my family. Awesome. I'm very interested to know, too, guys, what some of your family comes up with as far as questions, because I'm happy to answer those as well. But yeah, so Traylon, as you're like kind of giving me the info there of all those questions that I asked, my thoughts are, for those of you that, like long-term, adding a $640 payment to your budget is going to be stressful or hard. What I have to say to you is, how determined and how much are you going to devote to this in the beginning? Because for me, I can guarantee you guys that if you come in and you make this a priority, this has to be your priority for the first couple of months to really get those results. And if you're willing to do that so that you can really truly start reaching some of these goals, then to me, it's totally worth the risk. Now, I will fully be honest with you. I don't think investing in this is going to be the right move for you if you are not ready to come in and just hit the ground running, because we need to get you fast traction and fast results. So that way you don't have to worry about money. So the last thing I ever want for anyone is for joining our program to create more debt for you. That's not why we're here. And that is not what we want for anyone. So I feel confident in saying, Traylon and anyone else in her situation, it's worth the risk for you to do this. If it's going to make it tight for you for a few months, but you can handle it for a few months, because the rewards are so great. But that's only for people that are going to be willing to come in and like really follow our steps. Like I said, it really is only like 1-ish hours per day to focus on it. If you can do more, great. You're just going to be able to get there faster. but that's really all it takes to really get started. So, and I feel comfortable telling you guys to take that risk as long as you can promise to yourself that you're going to follow the steps, because you're going to have results. You just got to keep going, and you got to show up. You got to show up and ask questions. You got to let us know if there's any moment in time that you're struggling, because we can't read your mind, right? And we want to know, we need to know if you have questions, if you're struggling, if you don't understand anything. Yeah, you have to be true to you. Exactly. So we're here for you guys every step of the way, and we are ready to help. So Dana says, I am nervous. I don't know that I can make the 640 for the first month. Money's very tight right now. Let me see what I can work around and things to try and figure something out. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Let me know. Sometimes I've seen people, pull some cash off of a credit card if that's available, or ask friends and family, or even find a business owner that might need bookkeeping and ask them to sponsor you in for a few months in exchange for free bookkeeping. Give them a deal. Jennifer says, would you say mostly all who have been through the academy get local clients or clients all over? Yes. So I would say the majority of people have clients everywhere, because the only time that I really see people getting a lot of local clients is when they join those networking groups, because obviously those networking groups are going to be local. Most of them are in person. And so obviously they have to be close enough that you're going to be driving around. But even in the networking groups, sometimes, the other people that you network with have clients all over and they refer to you. So, but the social media, the email, all of those are all over. So it's very, very easy to get clients without worrying about where you live or location, restrictions, which is really great. And setting this up all virtually is like, if you ever decide that you need to move or anything like that, then it's easy because your clients just come with you, even though they don't have to actually travel. So, but yeah, I would say, most of our clients, they can't really get out a whole lot. So they do all of their marketing online. And so when you have that option, you're going to find people anywhere. You're not restricted by location at all. Traylon says, I run an in-home daycare. My husband runs a business as well. I am determined. I work 7 to 6, then family, school work. Yeah. Okay. Got it. I actually have a student, Romy, who has a daycare too, and is working her business to get out of her daycare as well. Cause it's a great rewarding job, but doesn't pay real well. And it is very restrictive, like 12 hours a day. Yeah. That's a lot. So, for you, I would say, can you squeeze in doing an hour a day with your bookkeeping business right now with the current number of kids that you have? I'm not going to say this isn't going to take some sacrifice. It will take some sacrifice at the beginning, but it's well worth it when you can free up all that time and then be able to, maybe you get your first client, Traylon, and then that covers the payment, right? And then maybe you get your second client and you can let one of the kiddos go. Maybe your hardest one. You can say, okay, I can't take you on anymore. And then you get another client and you let that next kid go. And so, just over time, you can keep making some changes and shifts. So, and then with your husband's business, what does he do? Jennifer says, yes, I had sent letters to local CPA offices and no luck either. My luck is crappy, but determined to do this as soon as I have the financial availability. So a couple things. When I first started my business, I started reaching out to CPA offices too. And the first time I did it, I sent one email out to like 50 some CPAs. And then I pouted because I didn't get anything from it. And I didn't realize as a brand new business owner that you can't expect results from that. If you're going to email CPA offices, you need to email 1,000, and you need to email them 5 to 10 to 15 times. And that's what actually gets you results with marketing. So it's like, because we don't know that, right? As a brand new person that's maybe never had a business, you don't know that that's what you really have to do for marketing. You have to touch them like multiple times, hit them up multiple times, let them know that you are serious and you're going to be around. And a lot of people have to get over the fact of like, well, I don't want to bother them. Well, too bad. That's what marketing is. So we're going to help you with that, But also don't say your luck is crappy. your luck is great. You're on this webinar and you're learning how to turn your life around and reach the goals that you have. I think that's pretty good luck. Teresa was actually just telling me an email that she wished she would have known about us years ago, because she could have really used this years ago. And you're here now. So that's really, I feel like that's pretty lucky. But you also have to shift your mindset around too, because when you have a business, you got to start picking out all of the things that like are going really well and focusing on that. And if you guys watch Jen's podcast on my YouTube channel, she talks about that a lot, how her business started to change when she started really focusing on her mindset and thinking about all the things that were really going right. And that it's hard to do. I am guilty of having a very negative mindset by default, and it's very hard to make yourself think about those things, but it does help. It does really help. Traylon said he is a woodworker, does custom designs, also a retired Marine. Awesome. Awesome. Well, you tell him to get this really awesome job where someone wants this really expensive woodworking thing, and then you guys can use that for the academy. Morgan says, I'm right there with wishing I knew of your business years ago. Yeah. I mean, I wish I would have known about this when my older two kids were little, because I struggled a lot when my first two kids were young and I didn't want to miss out. And so I chose to be broke so I could be home with them. And I'm talking broke, like I lost my house. We lost a car. I filed bankruptcy. I was even on food stamps at some point, but I refused to not be with my kids, because my whole entire life, all I ever wanted was to be a mom. And then I had kids and realized, how am I supposed to be a mom and a career person? That's not what I signed up for. And so I chose to try to struggle along so I could be there for my kids. But then when I got remarried and then I had my third child, I knew, I was like, oh, I can't go through this again. I need to be with her. I need to be with her, but I cannot be poor again. I cannot be broke the rest of my life. I can't be broke my whole entire life. And so, at that point in time, I had so much experience and so much exposure to this that then I had the tools to be able to even think of this idea. But yeah, so wish I would have known what I knew in 2015. I wish I would have known that in 2004 when my first child was born. So yeah. Teresa says it's natural for us to sabotage ourselves. Yes, totally. And that's something we work on constantly in the academy, constantly on our mindset calls. It is very easy to self-sabotage, talk down to yourself, things like that. So we work on those mindset things a lot in there, because you've got to shift into being more of a confident person, which I love to say that there's a lot of personal growth that goes into having your own business too. And one of the side effects is like having extreme confidence. Again, another thing Jen talks about in her podcast interview too, is how she can't believe how much confidence she has now just in herself in general as a person, that this business has helped her develop. Morgan says, that's where I'm at. My car is not worth it anymore, but I'm trying to better my kids' lives, and I need 4-wheel drive for my driveway is horrible in fall and winter and spring. Yes. Yeah. Traylon says, I will be starting. I am going to make sure I have a few months of payments. I'm sure within the next month I can be there and start. Fantastic. Awesome. Congratulations, Traylon. I'm excited for you guys. This is great. And I am actually really excited that I didn't go into an extreme coughing fit during this. So woohoo, success. But all right, well, we're going to be following up with you guys after this. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to respond to our text message or hop back on here on Saturday. And I will be here Saturday at 10 a.m. as well. And thank you guys so much. It was really great getting to know all of you. And I am super excited for how quickly you guys are all going to be able to reach these new goals. All right. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you guys soon, and I'll see you later.